Hello everyone, my name is Phil Rowley and today I'm down here at Spirit River. Come by for a visit. I happen to be touring through the area and Bill's shown me his UV2 materials they've got coming out, and as a stillwater fly fisher, very intrigued with UV materials and their effect on fish, and of course the fish's ability to see them. So I'm going to tie a Chironomid pupa pattern today using some of these UV materials, so let's get going. In the vise, I've got a size 10 scud hook. I've put a 3 millimeter copper bead on there, and we're going to do kind of a green and copper coloration. I'll put my glasses on so I can see what I'm doing. We're going to tie in the tying thread at the front with a minimum of wraps. We're going to find our scissors and keep them in our fingers. And then I've just taken some of the UV2 sparkle yarn, and we're just going to tie a length. Whoops, get my ratty fingers out of there. Just got one wrap on top, one in front to cock them up so we can tie them off. A couple of extra wraps just to secure, and then we're going to just quickly get down onto the shank of the thread. And I like to actually carry the tying thread along because I'm going to whip finish the fly right here, and then the bead's going to slide over, and then the actual tie-off point will be behind the bead. You'll see in a second, and we can get an extra opportunity to tie down on it and further cover up this tie-off area. So this is the kind of step you would do over and over again if you were doing a number of them. Then put your beads on the hook and then put the hook in the vise and start tying. So there I've slid the bead forward. Now I reattach the tying thread, and you can see I'm now covering up that tie-off point for a little extra durability so my gills aren't going to ever become unraveled. I'm just going to take the tying thread down. We want to make a thin, smooth body. Chironomid pupa are naturally thin. We want to try and keep our flies as thin as possible. So I've about a 45-degree angle. I'm going to come back up, open turns. Then we're going to tie in the ribbing material, which we're going to use some of the copper wire to complement the copper bead. And I'm going to take that wire and I'm going to stab it in to the bead on the near side of the hook. That's the side facing me. And secure that all the way down. The shank, again, keeping things nice and smooth. What I'm doing to keep things skinny is distributing materials all around the sides of the hook and not piling them all up in one area. Now for the body, we're going to use some midge body. This is a dark olive, lots of great colors. Chironomids use trapped gases to elevate their way up to the surface to emerge. And so shiny materials reflect light and mimic the trapped gases that give the pupa buoyancy and help that final transformation to adults. So you can do lots of different colors, lots of different body materials. The real deciding factors are the color and keeping it nice and slender. So you can build up a slight taper. So I'm just taking some of the thread twist out of my tying thread here to build up a little bit of a taper. But if you want to make sure you err on the side of skinny, and we're just going to bring this body material up the hook shank, close touching turns, one next door to the other, all the way up. You can see how you're getting that nice shine to the body. It mimics an actual pupa as it begins its ascent up to the surface. We like to fish these near the bottom generally, where they stage in huge numbers. And then they elevate and the fish just come along and just hail these and move on to the next one. So we've got this tied in place. I'm going to take our ribbing material and just nice open spaces. Chironomids have 9 body segments, so 7 ribs, but I just get into a rhythm. Come up behind the bead, tie off, a couple of wraps over top, a couple in front, and then using my thumbnail I pull and twist and break the wire away. That saves the life on your scissors, and that little tag when it breaks slips under the thread and doesn't cut the thread. Now we're just going to cover up our tie-off area and use some of the UV2 peacock herl. It came off a peacock eye, and we're just going to basically cover up our thread work. We want a thorax on our chironomids not to extend back any further than half the width of the bead. So we're just going to tie this in place, a couple of wraps like that, tie off, Nice full thorax there. And then we're going to whip finish. Now to whip finish, one of the tricks we like to do is put a little brushable super glue, or you can use head cement. And we're going to coat the tying thread, because if we try and apply cement to the peacock curl, it's going to mash down or glue down some of those nice fibers we want to keep moving. So now if you let the thread be the medium to take the thread in where we, sorry, to take the glue in where it needs to be, right at the tie off point, trim that off. We're going to trim our gills to about the length of the bead, so you can just pull them over, and you can trim the gills at any point in the fly. I often tend to leave it to the end. And then now all we're going to do is coat the body with some rather well used UV clear fly finish. This protects delicate synthetic materials. This is quite a thin formula. We don't want to build up too much bulk. So we're just going to get a little bit on our brush here, try not to mat any of the, just a thin coating just like that. And the beauty of these UV resins is you can let them sit, let them rotate the vise, use your bodkin as necessary to distribute, make sure it's all distributed, and just come in with the UV light and just give that a flash. And you can see on the light here how those white gills just pop with that UV2 material there. And the ostrich herl has a little nice UV look to it too. So at depth, that fly is going to give off UV light, and fish are going to be attracted to that and eat lots of them. So there you go. Just a simple olive and copper chironomid using the new UV materials from Spirit River. You want to add some of this to your fly tying kit. I think it's going to be some great materials.